Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Self Love Sunday. Today is Eastern Sunday, and I was wondering if whether to do this video or not, and I said I'm just gonna do it and trust that they're gonna watch it whenever they are ready. And today I have a really cool topic. I just did it in Spanish, and it was very fun to talk about this. And the way I worded in Spanish was to love yourself first before loving another. In this one, I put the word fly because I really love to the acronym fly. First, love yourself. And I learned it recently from this speaker that came to my work, and he was talking about how the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your relationships. But here's the catch: the quality of your relationships will be determined by the quality of your self-love. How are you loving yourself? Are you in communion with yourself? Are you in good communication with yourself? Are you engaging in self-care? So that's the most important question. And you may say, well, Paula, isn't that obvious? And I say, yes, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty common sense. But you know what happens with common sense is the least common of the senses. And when you know something, you stop talking about it, and when you stop talking about it, you forget about it, and you don't do it. So we're going to talk about what does it mean to love yourself. What does it mean to love yourself? The first time I heard the concept of self-love, first question that came to mind is, how in the world you do this? I have no idea how to do it. I don't even know where to start. So today we're going to talk about that. We're going to go through some concepts that are going to allow you to put it in practice. We're going to do a little bit of an activity here, and I'm going to go through some points, and then hopefully a couple of you get online and can give me a couple of comments and suggestions or questions for this topic, so we can make this video a little bit more interactive. If not, after I finish this video, if you get online and have a question, please put it in the comments below, and I will get there as soon as possible. So I would love for the people that are getting online, I would love for you to say hello in the comments below so I can say hi to you. So if you are getting online, please say a quick hi so I can say your name. Hello, Peter. So good to see you here. Hello. Peter D. Allen. I can see your picture. I remember you. Hi, Brenda. So good to see you here. So good to see you here. Chris Morales. Hi, Chris. I'm glad you're here. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for taking this time to do this together. You know, when I teach, I'm learning simultaneously. So I'm so grateful for you. So grateful for this technology. Even though in the last couple weeks I've been reducing my Facebook usage. I've been trying not to go to Facebook, trying not to go to Instagram very much, and creating more space for quiet time. I'm still so grateful for the technology so that we can do this kind of stuff. So thank you so much for being here. So today's topic, it's about first loving yourself. The quality of our life is determined by the quality of our relationships. And the quality of our relationship will be determined by the quality of the relationship with ourselves. So that's why I named this video Fly. First, love yourself. Hi, Sasha. Good to have you here. First, love yourself. But one of the first ways I have to, that you can love yourself, because remember, I just told you that the first time I heard the concept self-love, I thought it was great, but I had no idea what to do with that. How do you even start loving yourself? So we're going to do the first thing right now, and this is the way that I start every class, everything I do, and it's just by breathing. Taking the time to sit and breathe is one of, for me, the most powerful acts of self-love. just to calm my nervous system and remind my brain we're safe. That was just a trigger. That was just a difficult situation, but we're still safe. We're still alive, and all our needs are met. Our basic needs are met right here, right now. When I do that very, very simple thing, I'm sending a signal to my brain that I am safe, and I'm sending a signal to my spirit that I want to be diligent in this life, that I want to be a student, that I'm not the victim of what happens in my life. I'm the co-creator. So I would love for you to, wherever you are, close your eyes. Put your palms facing upwards if you want. And together we're going to start breathing in and out. Remember, if you don't know how to love yourself, this is a good start. Just to close your eyes and breathe. That's it. So simple. It's so simple. There's nothing fancy. There's nothing complicated. We're just breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So in this moment we take this space to be grateful. Be grateful with our breath. We be grateful with our present moment. No circumstance, no life, no desire, no dream, no nothing would exist if we didn't have this breath. If we didn't have the capacity to breathe in and out, we wouldn't be alive. And again, we know that might sound such a common sense thing, but it's so easy to get distracted and forget how profound our breath is. So I invite you in your home, take beautiful, delicious, deep breaths. This is a breath of life. This is our cosmic breath. We're breathing with the universe. We're breathing with God. We're breathing with love, however you want to call it. Someone said the exhalation of the universe is our inhalation, and our exhalation is the universe inhalation. So if you can bring to your mind's eye that image, as you exhale, the universe inhale, and as you inhale, the universe is exhaling. We're dancing with life. We're dancing in this beautiful third dimension, in this beautiful human experience. We're living in this moment, and we are grateful for being alive. So just keep breathing in and out as we welcome this new class, this new Facebook Live. We invite the wisdom of our spirit to be guiding our words, to be guiding the notes that we take, that we write down, to be guiding every thought, every question, every comment. And so we get ready to begin. So we're going to breathe the last 3 times. We're going to inhale trust, and we're going to exhale peace. So go ahead, inhale trust. Exhale peace. Inhale trust. Exhale peace. Last time, inhale trust. Exhale peace. And very slowly and very gracefully we open our eyes and we get ready to begin this beautiful class. Open your eyes. Hello, Gokhan. Good to see you here. Awesome. Alright, guys. So the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your relationships. The quality of your relationship is determined by the quality of your relationship with yourself. And you may say, well, Paola, it's a bit too late to learn that because I'm already in the relationship. I don't know how to love myself. And it's just feeling pretty chaotic out there with some people. Happy Easter, Kelty. Good to see you here. So, the first step to learn how to love ourselves, or maybe not to learn because you already know it, but to remember, is to every once in a while do a revision of your life. This is something I do, I don't even know how often, but pretty often. And especially when I'm feeling that I'm a little off. Like there's something that is not quite in alignment, and I don't know how to even know what it is. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. So one of the most beautiful ways to love your life, to love yourself, is being 100% responsible of what is occurring in your reality. Not 99%, 100% responsible of your reality. And I know you may say, Paula, I didn't choose this cancer. I didn't choose, this person cheating on me. I didn't choose that. I believe, and this is just a line of thought, you may believe it or may not. Just put it in the back of your mind and take it with a grain of salt. But I believe at a spiritual level, there's things that we have chosen even before we come to this incarnation to learn, evolve, ascend, transcend, and expand our beingness. So there are many things that we can see, well, yeah, I created this, I was all negative, and now I'm seeing the results of that. Or yes, I've eaten so much that this is why I'm overweight. And yes, Paola, I can tell how I got into this relationship trying to, heal the wounds of my ego, and that's why it's turned this abusive. And there are other things like getting sick or someone passing, things that are beyond our understanding. We say, well, I didn't create that. Everything in this life is happening for us, never against us. You don't have to believe it, but it's a lot easier when we do. When we slowly start entertaining that idea. Your soul and my soul have chosen certain situations, certain circumstances to evolve and expand. And so that's why sometimes we may stay in a space of, I don't even know why this happened in my life, why I had to be born in this household with my parents have been so irresponsible when my dad was an alcoholic. Everything has a purpose, and you don't have to know it right now. But the best way to deal with everything is by taking 100% responsibility of what you see in your reality. So now, if you have read my book Free, or if you did the course where I delivered it in Audible, you've done this, and it's always good to do this. So this is what I do very often in my life, and it's doing a little revision, doing a little check of where you are in your life. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to go grab a notebook, grab a pen, and we're going to draw something in that paper. So I'm going to give you a moment to go grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and we're going to be doing something together. So this is like a little workshop that we're going to do right now. And while you go get that, I see that Eka is online. Hi, my friends. So good to see you here. If you're online, you haven't said hi, I would love to say your name out loud and say hi to you. So once you have the pen and the paper, I want you to draw a circle, a big circle on that paper. And I want that circle to be divided in 8 pieces, like a pizza. Hi, Nicole. So I want you to divide that circle in 8 pieces. Happy Easter, Nicole. Very good. And then in each space, we're going to put a word. And so in the first space, we're going to put the word self. I just did it in Spanish, so that's why it's in Spanish up there. Could be a Spanish class. Yo, self. Then we're going to put in the next one, love. Love. In the next one, you're going to put health, the word health. Then you're going to put family in the next one. Family. Next one, you're going to put the word friends / community. Next one, you're going to put the word finances. Then the next one, you're going to put the word creativity / work / expression. Creativity, work, expression. And then the last one, you're going to put the word spirituality. Spirituality. All right? So this is like a self-assessment. And why do we do this? Because for me, the path of self-love is a path of you taking time to assess where you are every once in a while. Why do we do that? Not because we are, wanting to find what's wrong with us or we want to find fault. It's because we want to be diligent students. I know that feeling of taking care of my life gives me that feeling of I matter. I matter. I matter the time to do this kind of work. I don't have to wait for crisis to kick in for me to be doing this kind of work constantly. Now, sometimes you do this in the midst of crisis and it's all good. That's what crises are for, so that we stop and review, so that I can take 100% responsibility of each area of my life. So now, very quickly, you're going to go and assess a number. Where am I in each area of my life? With self, how's your internal talk? Are you being loving with yourself? Are you your best friend up here in your mind? Do you have kind words to tell to yourself? Kind words, kind thoughts, kindness towards yourself? Do you forgive yourself quickly so that you can begin again? Or do you swim in the waters of shame for too long before you can begin again? Do you do a lot of self-punishment? Or do you do a lot of self-forgiveness? So if you do a lot of self-forgiveness and compassion, kind thoughts with yourself, you can put an 8, a 9, or a 10. If you don't, then you may say, well, Paula, I'm a 1, a 2, or a 3. Now, the topic of love, this is specifically romantic love. How is your relationship right now, your romantic relationship? If you don't have one, how is your relationship to the idea of bringing a partner in your life? Are you in complete denial to that? I don't like it. All men are the same, or women are the same. Are you feeling not enough in this area? Are you desperate? Are you feeling content and at peace with this, even though there might not be anybody in your life? How you feel in that area? Then health. This is one of the easiest way to learn how to love ourselves, through our health. How do you treat your body temple? Are you taking time to breathe, to create an environment in your cells that has oxygen? Do you take time for your nervous system to calm down whenever you get triggered? Do you have time, or do you take the time to say no to distractions, to turn distractions off and be in silence, especially if you're super busy? Are you taking care of your nervous system? Are you taking care of your sleep? Are you sleeping well? Are you taking care of what you put in your mouth? Are you loving your body through the fuel that you're giving your body? And I'm not talking about here being extreme. I'm talking about here finding the middle point for you. Because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I take care of my body, and they completely abuse their bodies. In the gym, they don't stop working out, they do crazy diet, they go in extreme. This is not a topic about extremes. I have been extreme in my life, and it has left me with a lot of pain. Physical pain, emotional pain, a lot of self-sabotage. Every time I've been extreme, the next step for me is self-sabotage. So it's never worked for me to be extreme. Now, there's always a middle point between discipline and flexibility, between diligence and self-compassion. Not that they're opposite, but they're all part of the formula. So health, we're going to expand a little bit on this in a moment. How are you with your family? How are your relationship with your family? How are you in community? Do you feel like you belong to a beautiful community? Is the people around you lifting you up or bringing you down? How you feel in each of these areas. Then finances. How do you feel with the from 1 to 10 with the energy of money? Do you have a good relationship with money? What about creativity, work, self-expression? How do you feel at work? Are you expressing your highest good, your highest self? Are you putting your gifts and talents in service of the world? What about spirituality? Spirituality. What's your connection to the eternal? Are you engaging in practices that remind you that you're eternal being, that you're more than your circumstances, that you're more what happened yesterday, that you're more than just your physical body, your age, your name, who's your spouse, who do you work for, what do you do for work? Are you engaging in that realm where it goes beyond the senses? It goes to different realms of consciousness. How is your area of spirituality? And I want you to see right now, what is the score that you gave to each area? And I want you to look at the 2 areas that are needing your attention. What are the 2 areas in your life that are needing your loving attention? That if you were to put that score 1 point up or 2 points up, you will feel a significant improvement in your overall well-being. What are those 2 areas that if you went 1 or 2 points up, you will feel an overall, improvement in your well-being? So once you have those 2 areas and you are online in this moment, you can also do this when you're not online and when this video is not live. But I want you to type in the comments right now, what are those 2 areas that after doing this, you're observing with loving kindness, not with judgment, with loving kindness, that you are wanting to place more attention, more awareness into those 2 areas. So in this moment, please type it in the comments. What are those 2 areas that you want to place your attention? Kelty says friends, community, and finances. Okay, health and community. Community is so important. So important. Okay, well, thank you, Kelty and Peter. Thank you so much. So here's what I see for me. Every time I can see it, then I can put my attention there. Intention and attention. So in order to be diligent about it. This is not about perfection. This is not about you wanting to find your community tomorrow. It could be that you might find it tomorrow, but this is something that you work for. Our spirit, our soul, or at least this is something that resonates with me. I've seen whenever I'm progressing, like whenever I'm engaging in progress, is more important than perfection. The ego wants it all right now, and then wants to complain because it doesn't have it right now. And so that energy of all the people that are around me are also negative, I don't have my community, that just brings you down. Now when we're engaging in our soul, when we're being in silence, we ask ourselves, what must I first let go of so that I can find my community, since I'm seeing the community came 3 times in the comments? What must I let go of? And this is something I've seen in the last 10 years for me. I had to let go of a lot of my current relationships at the moment. I could see clearly that those seasons were over. And at times was not easy. And it was not an overnight thing. But slowly, many of the people that were walking with me in my journey, I had to silently, many times, just say goodbye to them. Sometimes not silently, I had to have the conversation. So, what must I let go of in order to move forward? Not in perfection, but in progress. And what must I start cultivating? What could be the next step for me to start finding my community? For me to start, because the 3 of you wrote community. What would be the next step for me? Now, I see Peter saying health and community, Nicole saying community and finances. The same with money. What would be the next step for you? Sometimes when finances are not doing well, we become the avoiders. I don't even want to talk about it. Or we become just warriors. We, not warriors, but we worry. And worrying, said Reverend Michael, it's like paying tax for money or paying interest for money that you didn't borrow. So the ego says, well, I don't have money, I don't have money, I don't have money. And then we stay there talking about how we don't have money. So what is the conversation that you need to let go of when it comes to finances? And what must be your next step towards financial freedom? The same with health and the same with the other areas of our lives. So this is the first step for me in first love yourself, is to take 100% responsibility of the areas of my life. Because let me tell you something. If this is not stable, this will start leaking energy. And that's when the negative self-talk becomes more intense. And this is when we just go down the rabbit hole. So the first step is just to look at my life as a whole and see where is that I'm not placing my awareness, my intention, and my attention. Okay? So, Nicole says, how do I get better at forgiving myself? It's so hard on myself. Thank you so much. I will show you that in my points here. The second point is forgive yourself. This is in Spanish. So, but perdónate is Spanish. So thank you for asking that, Nicole, because that's my second point. We need to get good at forgiving ourselves. That's another way of loving yourself. Forgiving yourself as fast as you can so that you can begin again. So this is not forgiving yourself so that you continue doing what you know you shouldn't do. This is forgiving yourself so that you can correct and continue. Because here's the thing. Forgiving yourself will allow you to put one foot in front of the other. Shaming and guilting yourself will keep you stuck. So having a more kind self-talk, kind thoughts, kindness, kind words. Entertain kindness. And kindness is softness. You've heard me talking about rigidity, being rigid like a rock. That's what brings the most pain in our lives. Is to know that there's no need for black or white, that there's some areas of gray, there's some shades of grays in the middle. It's not that you forgive yourself so that you continue your behaviors, that you forgive yourself so that you can be right here in the middle, using your flexibility and at the same time using diligence, discipline, knowing that you are learning, that it is okay to be afraid, that it is okay to make mistakes, as long as you're being diligent. Does that make sense? Let's take a deep breath right now. Let go. To learn how to be compassionate with ourselves is one of the most powerful things. And I've talked about this, especially in that video that I talked about what to do when you are in chaos, in uncertainty. These are qualities, forgiveness, compassion. These are qualities that helps us to go through crisis even more. So how is a very mental question, which is a great question, how? But before how, the question to you, Nicole, is, are you willing? Are you willing to be softer? And you may say, but how am I softer? Just take a deep breath. Can you take a deep breath in the midst of you being super hard on yourself? Just that. It's very simple. So let me tell you one more time. This is all very simple. It's complicated for the ego. It's not easy for the ego because your ego and my ego is so accustomed to certain behaviors. And when we're so accustomed to certain behaviors, we're addicted to those behaviors. So Nicole, I would be willing to bet, and you correct me if I'm wrong, that you are addicted to being hard on yourself. Why are you addicted to being hard on yourself? Because that gives you a sense of control. If you're hard on yourself, then you're in control. You beat yourself up. I'm in control, then something's gonna come out of this. This is probably what you learned from your parents. This is probably what your parents learned from their parents. And then we go to the beginning of time with finding out that this is a disease that we've been having for so many years, and we are the ones that get to heal this disease. You get to be the one that cuts this. And I know, Nicole, that you have children, so that you don't pass this on to your children. And even if you say, well, I already did, well, it can be reversible. It can be healed. As the best thing you can do for your children is to learn how to forgive yourself. Now, how is a second question? The first question is, are you willing? And once you're willing, are you willing to breathe deep and slow? When you feel that harshness in your brain, when you feel that your own judgment is poisoning every cell of your being, can you say, stop, Nicole, stop. Let's go to the bed, let's go to the chair, let's go to the bathroom and breathe. And you can say these words, Nicole, if you remember. You can breathe the words, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Many times when we're being super hard on ourselves, and when you are not feeling that you're a good enough mother, good enough wife, good enough citizen, and you're feeling like it's never enough, can you go to that phrase, I am enough, I am enough, and just breathe through that. Even if your brain doesn't believe, no, I'm not enough, I just made a mistake, I just said that thing that I shouldn't have done. I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. Just keep breathing through that, bringing flexibility to your breath, bringing a little bit of calmness, even if it's just a little bit, to your nervous system, repeating those words, calming yourself so that you can find the middle ground. Now, this is something I've seen in many people, and this is where I wanted to talk about the body temple too. And next week I'm going to expand on this because I've been asked to talk about the body and how we treat the body and weight and eating and all of that. So I'm going to talk about that next week. But this week I want to talk about being extreme. We tend to be very extreme because being extreme gives us a sense of control. And when you're feeling in control, you're feeling safer. And when you feel safe, then you send a signal to your brain, okay, I'm not going to die. I probably talk about this in every single call, but I always think it's so good to know this. It's so primal, it's such a default mechanism. We go there as default. It's such a defense mechanism that sometimes we don't even, we just let it be. We're not even aware of it. But being extreme is a form of control. If you ever see someone overly exercising, being extreme about a way of eating, being extreme about a religion, being extreme about yoga, being extreme about spirituality, being extreme about anything, that's just someone trying to be in control, trying to feel safe. So the same, when you're extreme about the self-judgment that you have, is because that gives you a sense of control. And because that produces so much stress hormones, those in times become a drug to your brain. So that is why it's so important with the strength of your spirit, which is strength of your, of your highest self, to say no. Even though my body right now is so accustomed to be hard on myself, I'm going to do the opposite. And at first, as I've talked in another video, you're going to feel like you're taming a wild horse. You're going to feel like you're taming a wild horse. It's almost like you have to bring yourself and say, no, I'm in control. My spirit is in control, not my addiction, not the addiction in my brain to be hard on myself. So thank you so much for that, Nicole. So forgive yourself as soon as you can and begin again. Diligent. With discipline. The word discipline and disciple stem from the same root. You being a disciple of this life, a disciple of love. You're aiming to love every day. What would love do? We ask ourselves. Love is not extreme. Love is not black and white. Love knows that every situation is so unique that every situation needs us to pause, breathe, and assess. That's why I have trouble with some religions. I have trouble with some people being too extreme in their way of teaching, because every situation is so unique. Life is such a beautiful flow. It's never one straight line. It's always like this. That whenever we have just the one formula, it might work in some cases, but in some other cases might end up hurting ourselves and our relationships and our bodies pretty deeply. So the second or the third step, the first step was to do a self-assessment. Second step is forgive yourself as soon as you can and begin again. Another thing about extremes, whenever I've been extreme, it's sure route to self-sabotage. Whenever I'm engaging in any extreme behavior, I am guaranteed, Paola Castro, I don't know about you, I am guaranteed to at some point sabotage it all. All extremes are poisonous. So what is your middle point? And that's the beauty of this new era of thinking. You get to decide what is for you. What works for you? What's your middle point? When to be disciplined, discerning, when to be flexible and flow. You know. So, number 3, take care of your environment. And I'm not going to only talk about your external environment. I'm talking about your internal environment. Our cells are doing so much for us. What is the environment of your cells? We're going to talk about that right now. Are you bringing oxygen to your cells, or are you bringing stress to your cells? What is the food that you're eating? Remember, food affects your hormones, and the hormonal environment in our bodies affects our mood, our behavior, and the way that we relate to ourselves and to the world. Again, I'm going to expand a little bit on that next week, but today, I want to ask you that. Because you can be working on your spirituality and self, but if we're not taking care of the internal environment in our bodies, if we're not taking care of this body temple in a beautiful, loving way, our hormones are going to be affected, your mood is going to be affected, your relationship with yourself is going to be affected, and therefore the relationships you have with others. Are you moving? Are you moving? Are you saying no to Netflix? Are you saying no to social media? Are you saying no to all of the overlove of stimulation so that you can have time for self-care? And here, I'm not being extreme. I said it last week. I've been cutting down on social media a lot because I want to create more space for quiet time, for me time. And I'm not saying that social media or any technology is a bad thing, or even marketing. It's all good. The question is, are you having healthy boundaries with yourself? Because here's the thing. I don't know if you ever heard the analogy of the elephant in the circus that got trained to be chained to this pole. So his leg or whatever it's attached to this pole. And so this elephant grows to be the strongest animal in the jungle, and he could, tear that pole apart if he wants. But he's so accustomed, so trained that he needs to be attached to this pole that he never uses his strength. So this is what I see that has been happening with distraction. And what is distraction for me? Distraction is when you go to food when you don't want to feel. Distraction is when you go to Netflix when you don't want to feel. Distraction is when you, just scroll all the time on your social media when you are dealing with something that you don't even want to pay attention, or you want to create something and you're like, I don't have time, but you do have time to watch 2 hours of, social media. Distraction is drama when you're constantly in a drama with someone or something in your life. Distraction is complaining. Distraction is comparing yourself. So a very important thing to do when we are engaging in self-love is to have boundaries with yourself. So I've talked about boundaries with others. And if you haven't watched that video, go watch it. It's healthy boundaries. But boundaries with yourself. We've been so trained to believe that it's okay to be distracted all the time. That we have so much power, just like the elephant has strength in his body. You have so much wisdom in you, So much love, so much strength, physical, emotional, so much resilience, so much creativity. But we don't use it because we're attached to all of these distractions. That is why it's so important to do some self-care of your environment. What is the environment? Your internal environment and your external environment. What are you allowing in your what is the name? Your field. What is in your field of awareness? Is it silence? Is it quietude? Is it self-forgiveness? Is it positive self-talk? Or is it distraction after distraction after distraction? Food, alcohol, substances, drama, Netflix, social media. Because let me tell you something, it's very, very hard to be engaging in self-love when we're constantly bombarded with distractions. And not because the world is doing it to us, it's because we're allowing it in. And also because we have undisciplined minds. Because we don't have dominion over our minds. I hope this is making sense. I hope this is resonating. Let's take a deep breath in and let go. If there's any questions that are arising from this conversation, please put them in the comments. If there's any comments that you would like to put, maybe there's not a question, but you're resonating with something, please write it in the comments. So Nicole says, 100% yes, I'm willing to stop this here. I'm freely putting in the word. Beautiful, Nicole. So now, if you are, then patience too. So you know that every step will never go in vain. It's not going to be in vain. You are progressing. So I would say patience and say yes to progress and not perfection. It's okay if tomorrow you be hard on yourself, but what would be amazing is that the moment that you realize it, then you forgive yourself and you begin again. So it's not about a journey of perfection. It's about a journey of just putting in the work, one foot in front of the other. Some days it's going to be perfect. Some other days it's going to be a little bit messy. But you don't stop putting one foot in front of the other. So that's awesome. Thank you. Edgar French says gracias. You are so welcome. Michelle's put a heart. Brenda put a heart. And I am taking that heart as you guys are resonating with me. So first step, we take 100% responsibility of our lives. We do some self-assessment. You don't do this just one time. Do it once in a while, especially if you're feeling off. Just very easy. Circle, put it in 8 pieces, put the structures of your life, give it a number from 1 to 10, and then ask yourself, what is asking my loving attention? What must I let go of in this area? And what could be my next step? Again, it's just a little baby steps. Sometimes you don't have to do radical changes. Just do one thing that will move you forward in that area. I know that in the sense of health, this area to me gives me a beautiful feeling tone of self-love when I'm taking care of my health. When I'm taking care of my hydration, my nutrition, my sleep, my movement, my stretching. When I am loving this body temple, when I'm in balance in this body temple, I can feel a great sense of self-love. And then that brings energy for me to work in the other areas of my life. So, second step, forgive yourself as soon as you can and begin again. Not to keep doing what you were doing, is to correct the course and keep going as a diligent, disciplined student of love. Then we engage in self-care. And one of the best self-cares that you can do is to have boundaries with self. So you learn how to say no to distractions. You observe yourself when you're indulging too much in your distractions. When you're too much into texting with the person. Sometimes we're addicted to helping others, and then you all day long you're texting, you're resolving problems for other people. Could that be you deflecting from you? To not pay attention to you. Now, if you're in a space of overflow where love comes out of you, and that's just a natural thing to do, keep helping. But I'm just talking about when you have no boundaries and you just keep incisively putting your attention out there, everywhere out there. And then when you're with yourself, you eat. And when you're with yourself, you numb yourself in social media. That's what I'm talking about. Healthy boundaries with self. Um, and I have another one that says time is more important than money. So this goes hand in hand with letting go of distraction. So many times we are constantly busy because we say, well, I gotta do money, I gotta make money, Paula, I gotta make money. But what if your time, you investing time in yourself and self-love is what's going to make you money? One of my favorite teachers, his name is Kyle Cease, and he says, we think money is a limited resource and that we have all the time in the world, which is the opposite. Money, it's out there in the world. In fact, you just get in tune with yourself, you have a great idea, you can make money. Money, you can have it. Time is what's a limited resource in this time and space. The problem, said Buddha, is that we think that we have time. Time is going very fast, and this is the life that we have. Are you going to keep investing your time in distraction, or are you going to keep investing your time in yourself? But many times we make money more important than our time. What if you dedicating time for silence, for self-care, for self-love, for breathing, is what's going to bring you brilliant ideas for you to create more money? Is what's going to bring more enthusiasm so that you can put that in your work. It's going to bring you more creative solutions so that you can bring that in your livelihood, to your business. So time is more important than money. That's a concept that I've learned, and that makes me feel very loved by myself. Now, I'm not saying money is not important, but when we have put the priorities in differently, or when we have put money above time, then we just keep insisting here. We just keep fighting and working, and then we're exhausted. Then we don't love ourselves, and then our relationships fail, and then we just keep going in circles. Have you ever felt that way? Happy Easter, Christy. So good to have you here. All right, so I hope you guys are resonating with this. When I heard for the first time in my life that I needed to love myself, I was clueless. I had no idea what to do. And I've practiced this. I'm not perfect at doing this, but when I practice this, I feel so loved by myself. And here's the thing. When I am loving myself, I'm emitting an energy that I don't even have to talk about it. And then it's almost as if I'm training the people in my life on how to treat me. The way that I treat myself is almost like an unconscious training that I'm giving to the world on how to treat me. And the people that are not in that wave with me, in that energy with me, very easily even don't come to my awareness, or they don't come to my circle, or the season is over and it's pretty obvious that is the case. So sometimes you don't even have to worry about the others. It will happen organically. So I guarantee you, if you do the steps above, first love yourself, the quality of your relationships will be we'll be getting the benefits of it. Let's take a deep breath in. Let go. And this is what's gonna make you fly. Fly first, love yourself, fly. And I love that analogy of flying. We're constantly in this flight. We're opening our wings, closing our wings. You heard me saying this analogy. So it's all about discipline, and freedom and expansion and flexibility. And then sometimes we apply some discipline. Sometimes we apply some boundaries. And then again, we can give to the world, and then we retreat. And then we give to the world, and then we retreat. And then we're constantly doing this fly. And then in this case, fly first, love yourself is what's going to get us there in that beautiful dance. Not a life of extremes. Extreme is what hurts us the most. So I don't see any more questions. If there is a question that is arising, please put it in the comments. If I'm not live when you want to have that ask this question, put it in the comment and I'll get to that question as soon as possible. Also, for the people that write me on private messenger in Paola Castro, I get to you as soon as I can. As I said, one of my ways of putting boundaries with myself is that I have been decreasing the time in social media. So I get to social media just for working reasons. So you might see my posting, but they're just being scheduled time ahead. So I get to you as soon as I can. But this is one of the things I've been doing to myself. I've just been decreasing that because in this season in my life, I want to pay more attention to silence than to the noise of the world. And that's just me in this moment. It might be you too. It might be you too. So let's take a deep breath in. Let go. And I don't see any more comments. And we're almost getting into the hour. We're going to close our eyes. And we're going to get in tune with our hearts. And I want you to take a deep breath in your nose. Let go out the mouth. Breathe in your nose. Let go out the mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. And as you continue doing that, I want you to ask yourself in this moment, what do I take from this call? What do I take from this Facebook Live? Out of everything that we have discussed this morning, what is the one thing that is going to make me feel that I'm loving myself in a profound way? What is it for me that I've been forgetting because it sounds such a common sense that I just stopped doing it? Is it the way that I treat my body temple? Is it the way that I utilize my time? Is it the way that I haven't taken care of all the structures of my life, or I've forgotten to pay attention to certain structures of my life? Is it the drama that I must say no and find more moments of quietude and silence? What is it for you that you take out of this class and you are committed to practice it this week? We're going to take the last 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Let go. Inhale. Let go. Last time, inhale, peace. Exhale, peace. Very slowly and very gracefully, we open our eyes. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Next week, I'm going to be focusing my Facebook Live on the body temple. We're going to be talking a little bit about food and about exercise. I'm not a nutritionist, but I'm going to talk about a little bit of my own journey with my body. And I've been asked to talk about this before, so this is what's going to be next week. And that and how it affects everything in our lives. So thank you so much for being here. I see Judy says, sorry I missed live. I watch later. Happy Easter. Happy Easter. Yes, watch it later. Have a wonderful Sunday and have a wonderful week. And I'll see you next Sunday. Goodbye.